And I was sitting in front. Unless I'm presenting, then I don't have a choice. Yes. She has one. That's what I could see the house in the fridge. She's been actually, she wasn't out as we did. She came to me. Every night. I love potatoes, right?
You're not gonna. Hey, how you doing? Hi. Some food out there. Yeah, I mean, I can't eat anymore. Thanks. Thanks for letting us. How are you doing, Barb? I'm doing okay. Not bad. Which I eat too much, so I don't. It's not that interesting in hearing about food.
Outside of that,
Afraid of it. I would think you'd be more fearful of it. Yeah,
right now. So this is
Oh, that's right. You're closer. Yeah, you're on the cul-de-sac. Yeah, I forget your
better chance of nothing going wrong, right? I'm sorry to have, but yeah, that's good. I'm more in it now, because like I said, when the more we are in this, the more we realize, oh, some things have to be very fine-tuned and you respond to there's other things. You'll hear about them, very focused on different individuals, like, I'm saying, like, I notice the smallest things that think don't matter at all. It matters to me. We were just discussing that actually yes, no, for sure. Yeah, now I can say, I'm saying that's right. Yes, some people are more hard to get into, others are not. Like, I'm the non-person. I'm not hard dietary. Yeah, there's a whole range of what we're going to be on. Exactly. And me, unfortunately, that's good. Glad to hear that. Yes.
Hey everyone, we're going to get started here in just a few minutes, so if you haven't had any food, there's food up here. There's 2 different desserts, and there is like a little entree you can sample as well, and all of it meets our healthy vegan food standards that we're going to talk about here in a few minutes.
The desserts are brownies and wines.
Yes, good tasty food. Also, we have a sign-up sheet here. Paul over here from Island Walk. Can you go wait, Paul? Paul, can you wait? Yeah, that's Paul. The sign-up sheet's right in front of you. If you have not signed in, please sign in with Paul.
Share.
All right, I think we're just about ready. Yeah, I hear them celebrating for us over there. Well, I want to thank Paul and Stephanie here from Island Walk. Paul and Stephanie, can you raise your hands down? In case you don't know them, they are kind of the ones, so you got a big round of applause over there too. They're the ones who have been instrumental in organizing this event. We come here once a year now. It's like an annual event for us, and hopefully we can deliver some awesome, useful information to you. So thank you, Paul and Stephanie. Yes, Paul wants, yeah, here you go, Paul.
So thanks for everyone coming. Island Walk Blue Zones Health and Wellness Council is sponsoring this event. Like Mike just said, this is the 4th year he's living here, Mike and Denise. And if you haven't signed in, please sign in. And if you'd like to leave a donation, they are a non-profit group, so it'll be very helpful to cover some of their expenses. And we're looking to have more events like this here in the future in Island Walk.
Thanks, Paul.
All right, thank you so much. All right, well, welcome everybody. We hopefully will be giving you some new information. I know that I was just talking to Paul. I haven't seen him since the springtime, and I've learned so much just over the summertime. There's always new information that we have through our nonprofit. That's it, aPlantBasedDiet.org. And in this case, just know that I'm Mike, and this is my beautiful wife, Denise. We're both 54. I don't know how old we look, but we're 54 years young. And we specialize, this nonprofit, in health span and longevity. So this talk is basically about how to optimize your health through healthy vegan food. Since we're called aPlantBasedDiet.org, we kind of focus on the food. And I'm a foodie, I love to eat. I may not look like it, but I eat all the time. In fact, I have to, because I don't want to weigh any less than I do, although I'm right in the middle of the BMI, believe it or not. So I don't have to, I'm not too little, but I just eat all the time. And we'll get into our talk right now.
So if you left us your email address, you don't have to worry about frantically scribbling any of this information down. We'll send you links to our website and a study that we're going to talk about. So if you want to take pictures of anything so you can remember to ask questions later, we will have some time at 7:45 to take your questions.
Yeah, so hold questions, and please ask us all the questions that you have.
Okay, so you want to introduce yourself, Mike?
Oh, that's me, okay. I founded a nonprofit about 10 years ago when I went fully plant-based. At the time, I didn't know anybody that was plant-based, so the whole idea was to build community and to just kind of raise awareness of the possibilities about how this impacts your health positively. Because I want to tell you, our secret mission is to have fun, and I know that nobody can have fun if you're chronically ill, if you're seeing a doctor, you got to get prescriptions filled, if you just don't feel your best, right? Because I don't have any chronic illness. I've never had to take any prescription medication other than an occasional round of antibiotics, which was a long, long time ago. And I just saw my doctor just yesterday, right? I hadn't even seen the doctor in 10 years. Okay, there's just no reason to, and that's the hope for everybody. We want you to be able to go out and have fun, do what you want. So that's me, and now here is Denise.
I'm Denise. I'm the treasurer of aPlantBasedDiet.org. I'm also 54 years young. I haven't had any cosmetic procedures. I try to eat healthy, and we exercise a lot. So since I met Mike, I went plant-based, and I lost 20 pounds. And he and I used to run 5Ks together all the time. And I can still fit into clothes that I wore in the 8th grade. I'm pretty happy about that. Some of my classmates are no longer with us. I wish that they had the information that I have now.
Yeah, I've seen that too in my class of 88, high school for me. We grew up in the 70s and 80s, and we're seeing people not with us anymore. It's not good.
So this is me meeting with T. Colin Campbell. The first year I went plant-based, you can tell I was a little heavier there.
Do you guys know, by show of hands, who knows who T. Colin Campbell is? A couple of hands, maybe a third of the audience, okay.
Yeah, he's one of the inspirations for us for creating our aPlantBasedDiet.org nonprofit. So he said that a good diet is the most powerful weapon we have against diseases and sickness. So it's not pharmaceuticals, it's not surgeries,
It's the food. It's the food, that's why we specialize in the food. You're gonna hear more about that.
So he said by any measure, we're fixated on magic pills more than any other country in the world. And so it just, here we think that that's normal and it makes the disease look normal, but it's really not.
Yeah, he says this does not suggest health, but rather the normalcy of disease. Yeah, because you're only managing symptoms. When you're taking these magic pills, as he calls them, okay, you're not addressing the root cause. But we want to address the root cause. We want you to not have these issues if you don't need to.
So America is ranked 44th in the world, and that's a really low rank considering that we have the highest health costs per capita in the entire world. So it's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, so this is kind of an overview of the severity of the problem, is that we are spending more than anybody, but we don't even have close to the top results. So that's not okay with me. And actually, it's not financially sustainable either.
So T. Colin Campbell said if everyone were to adopt a whole food plant-based diet, he believes that we could cut healthcare costs by 70 to 80%.
Okay, now what he's saying by that is that basically 70 to 80% of the health problems don't even need to be there, right?
Yeah.
So if we're saying we have the highest cost per capita but not so great results, well, the reason is because of things that we have that we're managing that we don't even need to be managing if we just address the root cause. And that's what we want to talk about.
So the food you eat can be either the safest and most powerful form of medication, or it can be the slowest form of poison.
Right, so well, we all know you would not want to purposely poison yourself, right, over time. That doesn't sound fun, because we are about fun. Fun is the top part. Food is the most powerful form of medicine, so let's get into what type of food we're talking about and what we do.
So this is the slogan for our nonprofit. It's for people, animals, and our planet. And as far as the planet goes, I know you've all heard you can drive an electric car, you can take shorter showers, you can try to conserve water and things like that, but what will have a bigger effect than all of those is just going on a plant-based diet. Will give the most help for the environment.
That's absolutely true. Actually, it's exponentially greater than doing other things, like you said, like driving an electric car. No, it is important, and I have an electric car. Okay, but I'm just telling you, you want to do the most you can for the least amount of effort, just give up the animal products, because as I talked with some folks here earlier, that's the middleman. The middleman is always the source of your inefficiencies.
So there is a video about the water quality in Florida
Oh,
on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's for this audience specifically, for you all, you know about the red tide, right? And the water crisis. Okay, I do a video which I will send out to you if you're on our email list, or if you got the tickets through Eventbrite, basically describing how that is the solution. What we're talking about here tonight is the solution to the red tide and other things. It's very complicated, but it all makes sense if you watch the video I have on that, and I'll send it to you.
So we come up with our own definition called sustainable veganism. So our organization is vegan, but the way that we do it is by eating a healthy diet, because just eating vegan junk food isn't sustainable.
Yeah, and I mentioned to some folks here earlier that you can't just eat plant-based and optimize your health. You can't just be vegan, okay? Don't even assume that being vegan is going to be better for your health. Don't assume that. That's what I want to make sure. That's why we coined this term, sustainable veganism. You have to do what's best for your health, because if you don't, you're going to injure your health. Believe it or not. I know word on the street seems like, oh, all I got to do is be vegan and you're all better. And that's not true. That is not true. If you believed that before you came in here, hopefully we're going to change your mind, because you need to be real specific about what you're eating.
So we coined our own ideal thing called health optimization, and we defined it as a fully balanced health verified by the absence of non-communicable disease.
Yeah, so that's what this talks about, right? How to optimize your health. So we have to define it. Do you all know what non-communicable disease is? Non-communicable? It's not a popular term. I see a few heads nodding, but still there's some confusion. We're going to get into what that means too. We want to define exactly what we're talking about.
I stuck those pictures up there because that was us in our color run outfits.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a true attestation of what you can do if you eat healthy all the time. We didn't even practice for this 5K. We just signed up for it and showed up and ran 3.1 miles and survived.
Yeah, and we had fun. That's the thing. We had fun. We had a good time. That's what it's all about, is fully balanced state of health with an absence of non-communicable disease. So there it is, non-communicable disease.
Roughly 80% of healthcare issues and costs are due to non-communicable diseases.
And that 80%, that sounds familiar, right? Dr. T. Colin Campbell said that 70 to 80% of the medical costs, right? That's what he was talking about, non-communicable disease. This does not necessarily have to be the case at all. There's some examples of non-communicable disease. I got this off the World Health Organization website, I think it is.
Yeah.
These are the top 10 causes of death. And blue, as it moves across, is a non-communicable disease. Green is communicable. So there are different types. And you can see 7 out of 10 are blue, non-communicable. They're familiar, right? Heart disease, number 1, stroke, pulmonary disease, and then you have some infections there, but then you have lung cancer, trachea cancer, Alzheimer's, dementia, you have diabetes at number 9, and kidney disease at number 10. All those things are things that are non-communicable, right? So, you want to add to that?
Yeah, these are things I hear my coworkers talking about by the water cooler all the time. Oh, my dad has heart issues. Oh, my mother, I lost her last year to a heart attack. I mean, these are all things that people talk about like it's normal and expected, and it's really not. It's totally preventable and in most cases reversible.
Yeah, and remember, this all lines up. Dr. Campbell said 70 to 80% of costs don't need to be there, okay? And then we're telling you the World Health Organization, at least 70, it's actually 75% of all deaths are non-communicable diseases. These are all the same things from different angles.
Yeah, so there's the pie chart of non-communicable versus
Yeah, blue 75.
Yeah.
74 actually it says there.
same type of graph, so different.
So again, yeah, what are we talking about? Heart disease, stroke, pulmonary disease, trachea, Alzheimer's, dementia, diabetes, kidney disease. I think, is there anybody here that doesn't know somebody with one of those? Raise your hand. Yeah, no hands. Everybody knows somebody that has that. I mean, it's epidemic is the problem.
So this is more like Mike's explanation of the non-communicable diseases. It's when you eat things that your body doesn't recognize as food. He calls them food-like products. Mike's recent thought is that he's had this stuff his whole life. His taste buds have been enjoying these food-like products for decades, but now is the time to perform a cost-benefit analysis and really figure out if that's something you want to continue on. Is it doing you any good?
Yeah, and I will tell you, I am one of the most sensitive people out there. I'm like the canary in the coal mine. That's the thing. I figured this out long ago. When I was growing up, I remember before my teenage years, all those years leading up to there, I refused to eat meat. I didn't know why, because this was in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
The 70s through like 1985. I didn't know why. I didn't know what vegan was. I don't think anybody knew what that was in 1985.
Yeah.
But I gave in to peer pressure, but then by the time I was 30, I started getting, high cholesterol, and I started having to figure out, oh, maybe I was right all along, right? And as it turns out, as I recognize in my own body, because I listen to my body, and I know different than most of you, because most of us all are genetically identical, we do express different sensitivities though. I'm just one of the most sensitive people, okay? So I can tell you from my own experience, as I move away from what everyone's body knows as food, that's when I begin to express the non-communicable disease, and everyone is the same way, just to different degrees, and some people are more sensitive to certain things than other things, so we're going to get into that.
And you didn't mention that food is engineered to drive excess consumption. So Oreos are vegan. I can eat the whole bag. That's because there's no fiber in it. It doesn't fill you up. They want you to eat the whole bag and then some. So you gotta be careful with prepackaged food.
Food is a business. All the stuff around us, the reason why we all know people with non-communicable disease is because it's a very profitable business. It's all legal. That's just where we are. But we're trying to give you good news about things that we didn't know. Like, we didn't know this growing up. You all didn't know this growing up. We do see the light. We see people raising small children, babies, that know all this from day one, okay? That is amazing. We're watching this. This is all brand new the last couple of years. I don't think we ever saw this until a couple of years ago. So we're seeing the progress. Now the hard part is getting us and everyone out there to change their habits, okay? That's what this is really about. We know that the people that raised you loved you and did the best that they could. My parents were the same way. They weren't perfect, but they thought they were giving you the right information, but the reality was they didn't know enough. I didn't even know enough. Our kids are older, okay? We're actually grandparents. We have 5 grandchildren. And I've apologized to my kids for not knowing this information and handicapping them because of it. Because being chronically ill is some form of, you're taking away from what your potential is in life.
You can talk about that.
Okay, so whole plants, what it comes down to, the food-like products are those engineered things, okay, that we were talking about, which is what most people eat. Unfortunately, we're going to get into that a little bit more detail. But the whole plants, food has grown, all right? It's a balance of fiber, water, and nutrients. That's when it gets into your body, it creates that balance. Remember we talked about health optimization? It's a balanced state of health, marked by an absence of non-communicable disease. So this creates balance, it fosters life, and it prevents, usually halts or reverses many times, non-communicable disease. There's kids.
We weren't aware of this until fairly recently, but there's recent research that was just published this year in Newsweek that shows that 2-year-olds get 47% of their calories from ultra-processed foods, and 7-year-olds get even more, at 59%. and adults are eating about 60% ultra-processed food. So it seems like the younger they are, the more people care. When we get older, we care a little less and start eating worse.
Okay, ultra processed, it says if you look at the ingredient list, if you see a bunch of things that wouldn't be in your home kitchen, like stabilizers, flavor enhancers, artificial sweeteners, preservatives, thickeners, bulking agents, then it's ultra processed. And we were talking before the talk here, you want to have things that have like one ingredient, not like a whole bunch, and especially things you don't recognize. All that is processed, really ultra processed is the thing which is another level up. And that's what most adults are eating, most teenagers are eating. I think when someone's a little baby, you get a little bit more attention and you're not getting quite as many. But the minute that you get out into the real world, people are eating food-like products. They are not eating food. There is no wonder that there's this epidemic of non-communicable disease. All right, so this is processed food in general, right? But here's how we define it. Number one, food that's either cut or blended is minimally processed. Anything outside of cutting or blending is detrimental. It just depends on how far away you get from that, okay? So when you're cutting or blending something, the whole plant, it's still mostly the whole plant, right? You just cut it and blended it. It's still all there intact. It's a little bit different, but it's not that bad. But number two, the next level of processing is cooking, okay? I don't know if you ever considered this or not, but cooking is a form of processing because when you eat raw food, and we eat a lot of raw food generally for breakfast and lunch, that's the living food, okay? It was growing, it was alive, right? It was picked, and then you eat it, you take all that energy in. But when you process things by cooking, it actually lowers the effectiveness of food. It moves it away from that food state. Cooking's still okay. We're gonna get into the details on what's acceptable for cooking in a little bit. Number three, the most highly processed foods have either water, fiber, and or nutrients removed. So whenever you're starting to remove water, remove fiber, or remove nutrients, that's when it's considered a processed food because that plant has water, fiber, and nutrients in it. There's no reason, and that creates a balanced state of health. So when you start removing one of those three things, you're creating an imbalance, and that imbalance will carry over to your internal health ongoing. I wish there was some other way around this, but I'm just trying to tell you, this is the truth. This is how life works. And that's why we have such an epidemic of disease right now. Okay, so yeah, it's considered a food-like product by the human body, begins the creation of the non-communicable disease cycle. All right, so what happened back in the day? Way, way back. Okay, this is not new information we're giving you, by the way. Okay, we didn't just discover this.
You can talk about the evolution.
Okay, well, there's a caveman, I think, right there, right? Okay, now back in human evolution, there were periods of time, right, where we weren't sure if we were going to survive as a species. You can imagine, they didn't have air conditioning, they didn't have cars, they didn't know what was going on, probably in most cases. They didn't have the internet. They couldn't communicate with one another. They didn't know if they were going to survive from one season to the next, okay? So humans were eating mandatory, the survival diet. Because we weren't sure, and people didn't live as long as they do now, right? Nowhere near as long as they did. I think if you got to 40, you were ancient back in the day. Well, this is in the course of human evolution. If you go further back than that, that's a whole other topic. They were living way longer. But we're going to talk about not the survival diet because we don't want to just survive. Just surviving, you can have non-communicable disease, all kinds of, like we showed earlier. That's surviving. I don't think anybody wants that as a choice. I want to thrive. So if you want to thrive, meaning you want to do the best you can and not have to be ill with non-communicable disease, what do you do? That's what we're going to talk about here. What exactly do you do?
So it's all about balance. Mike likes to say balance.
Balance, it is. Life is a balance. It is. All right, well, this is kind of repetitive, but I just want to make sure that you understand, because everything we're going to say from this point on is based on this. Health optimization, our definition, which is on our website, is fully balanced health verified by an absence of non-communicable disease, and there are some of the most common non-communicable diseases. Remember, we're only talking about non-communicable, non-transmittable. I know we talked about some genetic things that were passed down. We're not talking about that either, but those are very rare. We wish nobody had those. This is epidemic. Non-communicable disease is epidemic right now. All right, now, we mentioned we're going to talk about Alzheimer's and dementia as part of this talk, and new information that's just come out this year. There's a doctor that's been around for quite a while named Dr. Dean Orner. She did a study on reversing heart disease. Okay? Now, he just released this year, this was the summer, okay, it's brand new information, this is new to me, a study that says, here's the effects of intensive lifestyle changes on the progression of mild cognitive impairment, aka dementia, early dementia, due to Alzheimer's disease, a randomized controlled clinical trial. So he wanted to find out if there was some way that they could use lifestyle measures, meaning your habits, in lieu of anything else, to affect positively dementia, because he had already proven this with heart disease in the past. So what did they do? What did they do in the study?
So that's the diet. Their diet was predominantly minimally processed plant-based food. High in complex carbohydrates, a lot of fruits and veggies, whole grains, legumes, some soy products, and a few seeds and nuts. It was especially low in harmful fats, no artificial sweeteners, and low in refined carbohydrates.
I'd say the key here, the takeaway, this is straight out of the study, by the way. This is a screenshot of this area in the study where they talked about it. 16 to 18% protein, no more than that. Or, sorry, protein, yes, but where was it?
Yeah.
14 to 18% calories of total from fat. That's all, that's more, actually, that's most important. It's the percentage of calories from fat. They only gave foods which averaged out to 14 to 18%.
Yeah.
That's very abnormal in terms of the American diet. You're going to find out why in a little bit, but let's talk about the other aspects of the study first.
Yeah.
Besides the food, they did stress management, right?
Yeah, they did stress management by doing yoga and meditation, yoga poses, breathing exercises. So, yeah, that was all part of their daily routine.
Yeah, so it's very important, I'd say, as part of the stress management, to not be stressed out. And a lot of times, you'll find, if you're familiar with the Blue Zones, with the work that they're doing here with Paul and Stephanie, you want to have a life purpose, and you want to really love what you do, because that really goes a long way. And again, this is also straight out of the study. That is a screenshot from what they did in the study.
They were encouraged to get adequate sleep, too. That's one of the 6 pillars of health.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
So group support was another big aspect of this. Because there have been other studies with nuns who did not get dementia, and not only were they exercising and eating healthy, but they had each other to rely on, so that they had social interaction. That was an important part of not getting dementia.
And then exercise, right? We have our running shoes on, by the way. I don't wear formal shoes anymore. Sit here with Denise, okay? Because you need to be able to get that exercise anywhere, anytime, okay? Your lifestyle needs to be about moving. That's the key, right?
Yeah.
The best exercise that you can do, and that was important. It was an important facet of this, of reversing Alzheimer's and dementia, is that you're moving all the time and you have purposeful exercise. And the purposeful exercise, they talk about this in the Blue Zones, is the kind that you're going to keep doing. Like if you walk to the grocery store, I don't know if you can or not, but we live in different places where we can do that, and I'll carry this heavy bag of groceries, not Denise, but I will carry it back. And I get a lot of strength, exercising, and aerobic from doing that, and it serves a purpose.
Yeah, I'd much rather walk than drive somewhere. So they were doing 30 minutes a day of walking, and also some basic strength training, which everyone should do.
Okay, so remember, that's all they did. I'm going to tell you. They reversed Alzheimer's and dementia with what we just told you. Notice, any pharmaceuticals in there?
No, there were no pharmaceuticals.
Okay, I just want to point out that in that study, they showed with the control group who takes the normal therapies for Alzheimer's and dementia, that there was no change in the control group.
Or
But
they
there
got
was,
worse.
or they got worse, yeah. But there was positive reversal in most of the people that use this protocol that we just described for you. And where can you learn the details? I have a video, and if you sign up for this or you got on the list here, I'll send you the video where I read through the entire study. I'd never read through a scientific study before, but it's interesting. You hear my commentary on it, you'll hear about how it all worked, but so much of it is the food. That's what we want to continue on with, because that's what this talk is about. And what happens when you're, okay, the non-communicable disease. You all heard of metabolic syndrome. Does that sound familiar to you? Okay, that's the root cause of most of this non-communicable disease, because this doesn't mention non-communicable disease, although we do up there. But over here, it shows metabolic syndrome causes, right? Heart disease, lipid problems, hypertension, type 2 diabetes, dementia, cancer, ovarian syndrome, oh, that's cysts, I think, ovarian cysts. Yep, and then non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. What is the root cause of metabolic syndrome? That's the big question, right? I wonder what it is, huh? Okay, well, it's the food, I'll tell you. So let's get into food and what type of food to eat, different definitions of different types of food. This may look familiar. It's actually on my license plate too in my car, although I don't have the car here tonight because we have a rental. That's a whole other story. WFPB, who's heard of WFPB? I see three hands, four hands, okay. Whole food plant-based, it's a term that Dr. T. Colin Campbell that we talked about in the beginning of this talk, he coined it. Problem is, there's no universally accepted definition from that. So we found it could include alcohol, which is what, a group 1 carcinogen,
Yeah.
causes cancer. Honey, which has very high calorie density and no fiber. We'll get into why fiber is important,
And
right?
some animal protein.
And animal protein, right, which causes cancer according to Dr. Cook, okay? And then fiberless foods in general can be included in whole food plant-based, and that's an epidemic. Not getting enough fiber is another epidemic that we want to talk about. So this is why we came up with our own term, because there's a lot of questions in there. Our term, through our own nonprofit, is called healthy vegan food. Again, just eating vegan food is not going to be good for your health. You have to be very specific. You want it to be healthy? That's what we have here. It's 6 pillars. You want to learn more? Go to healthyveganfood.info. It's a page on our website, and it talks about the 6 pillars, which are, what am I talking about?
The 6 pillars of...
Healthy vegan food.
Oh, okay. Okay, the food has to have whole plant fiber, so juice is not certified healthy vegan food. No animal products, no added oil, because oil is not good for you, not even olive oil. And no added salt, and no alcohol. Like we just mentioned, alcohol is a group 1 carcinogen, and 0 refined sugar. But we allow sweeteners like dates or agave to sweeten your food.
And before you glaze over and say, oh gosh, that's complicated, we're going to get into each one, and we're going to explain the reasoning behind, and hopefully convince you so that you won't wonder, or you can always ask us a question at the end. Okay, so we developed this standard through our nonprofit, through other experts that help us develop the standard, because we wanted to have a standard of food that we could, in good conscience, say is healthy, all right? Because everybody throws that word around, and it doesn't really mean much, and everyone's still sick, right? 80% of people have chronic illness. 75% of all people die from a non-communicable disease. Something's not working, so we developed this. This is our newer thing.
So some people have asked what we eat, and here's just a snapshot of what we ate one summer in a given day. There was fruit for breakfast, those cherries for a snack. We do have cooked food sometimes, like that's a chai tea latte. We usually have a big smoothie for lunch and a huge salad for dinner. So you can see that we've got plenty of calories there. That one had 1,144. Monk usually eats way more than that. And you can see by the pie chart that it's okay to eat the majority of your food from carbs. Carbs are not the energy.
Yeah, let's
the enemy.
also define that, okay? Because you hear carbs being thrown around as something that's bad. What is bad? There's 2 types of carbs. There's processed carbs, aka processed food. We already defined what that was, right? Anything beyond cutting and blending where you're removing water, fiber, and or nutrients. That stuff is bad for you. There's no question. Those processed carbs. But these colorful whole plants, these are whole plants. That's whole plant carbs. That's totally different. It's not the same thing, and you want to eat as much of that as you can, right?
Yes, your brain runs on carbs. So don't listen to those people that say you got to eat a keto diet in order to lose weight. I can eat like this any given day and still lose weight and not run out of
I eat all the
energy.
time. I'm just telling you, look at me. I eat all the time, right? Denise will tell you.
Yeah,
I'm constantly eating. I can't get enough food. I'm constantly eating.
And see, I've got 32 grams of protein here. If you're getting enough calories, you're getting enough protein. And the sodium, look at that, 229 milligrams. If you want to stay really healthy, you want to be below 700 milligrams.
Yes, and let's also talk about protein just for a split second here, because I know it's the thing that comes up when you hear plant-based or vegan. All plants have protein. You're getting it directly from the source rather than the middle person, aka animal product. That's a middle person. You don't want the middle person if you can avoid it. And it's balanced. Yes, you're going to get enough because we talked about these whole plants are balanced. Water, fiber, and nutrition. Automatically balanced. All right, there's the fiber.
Yeah.
This is the big one, okay? Why do we have in our standard that you have to have whole plant fiber, not a pill? That's not the same, right?
Right.
Don't take a pill to get fiber. That's not whole plant fiber. What your body wants to maximize your gut bacteria, optimize that is whole plant fiber. So, you want to explain that? There's some bad news first, we'll tell you.
There's 13 grams of fiber in a pineapple. We eat
Well, that's
like
good news.
4 of these a day for breakfast. Yeah, the average
That's some bad news.
American gets about 13. The average American gets about 15 grams of fiber a day, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah, okay. If you look up the internet, I'm not making this up, I wish I was. According to Harvard University and others, 95% of people alive don't get enough fiber every single day. You need fiber to keep you regular, right?
Right.
If you're not regular, what happens? Constipation. Nobody likes constipation. And a whole slew of other things happen, right? Plus, you can't optimize your gut bacteria.
Right, and you'll be hungry all the time.
That's right. And so, what do you need? We say up here 25 to 30, but I would say if you're asking me directly, Mike, what do you eat? What do you advise? Like, what are we doing? Like, probably 50. 50.
At least.
And if the average person's getting 13, according to the study here at Harvard University, it's epidemically low. I just made that up, I think. Okay, but that's where this epidemic comes from. We're not even close. It's not. We have so much room for improvement. Here's more talk about the gut.
So yeah, the fiber feeds your gut bacteria, and 90% of your body's supply of serotonin is produced in the gut. So you can see how this affects your mental health.
Yeah, SSRIs, serotonin reuptake inhibitors, right? I don't take any of that stuff, but I know what it is because the serotonin system's not working. Well, we just described that most everybody's not getting enough fiber. Why would you expect that to work? You're doing it wrong. You ever heard that phrase? Okay, so you need whole plant fiber.
Guess how much fiber is in meat and dairy? Anyone
How
want
much?
to guess?
No, any animal product.
Zero.
Yeah, animal products. The reason why we can't call them a health food is because they have no fiber, and we just explained 95% of people don't get enough fiber every day. And we just explained the gut, right? SSRIs. What are SSRIs? They're taken to combat depression. Depression's an imbalance. There's something going on in the gut microbiome and other things. Actually, exercise also combats depression. But these are other talks. We have other talks on that, but hopefully we're emphasizing why you need to eat whole plants. And there's more of what we just talked about, right?
That's a plate that we actually made in Ecuador at a fruit festival. It was delicious.
This is kind of repetitive, but I cannot emphasize enough that you have to eat as much fiber as possible, really 50 grams a day. Otherwise, don't expect all your systems to be working the way they were designed.
So Dr. T. Colin Campbell said that animal protein turns on cancer. But what you eat actually affects your telemeter length that's in your microbiome. And yeah, when he did a study on rats, if he fed the rats more than 5% of their calories from casein, which is in dairy,
Animal protein.
Yeah, animal protein, they got cancer. And when he stopped feeding them that, they didn't get cancer.
Right, so this is addressing one of our pillars in healthy vegan food that says zero animal products. Why? Because the protein in animal products causes cancer in humans. You want to not be sick? You gotta not eat things that create the illness, right? Fibrous foods create the illness. Animal protein creates illness. And if you want to read the China study, all the proof is in there. All right, insulin resistance. Now we're kind of getting into why we say zero oil. We're kind of getting into that area right now. And actually, insulin resistance, another thing is that kind of goes along with this, loosely anyway, is what was it? I don't know. I can't remember right now, but I'll get to it in a minute. Okay, but what's happening here with insulin resistance is it's type 2 diabetes, right? As we know it. It starts out as insulin resistance, and then you build up this blood sugar because it's resistant at the cellular level. Instead of it working the way it's supposed to be, it doesn't. And in most cases, it's because of eating a diet that's too high in percentage of calories from fat.
Yeah, it's from fat, not from sugar.
Okay, so we've been talking about percentage of calories from fat, and this relates to oil. This is the part that we're talking about where we say no oil. I know this is kind of complicated, but the reality is Yes, there's nutritional labels on food, but none of them tell you how to calculate the percentage of calories from fat. I wish they would, because you'll find out here in just a second that it's another epidemic in society, that most people are eating food that is way too high in the percentage of calories from fat, right?
Yeah.
Now here's an example. You want to give an example?
No, you can go to the next slide. I have an actual example.
Okay, well let's talk about, this is oil, okay? Because we're getting into oil. The reason why we can't call oil healthy or even a food is because number one, all the water has been removed. Number two, all the fiber has been removed. Number three, all the nutrition, or most of the nutrition has been removed, right? So it's a highly processed food. And in addition to that, we will show you how to calculate the percentage of calories from fat, but we don't need to with oil because it's 100% calories from fat. And you're not supposed to have more than what?
15%.
Yeah, so about 15% calories from fat. If you're eating anything that has a high caloric density like oil does, and 100% calories from fat, you're gonna have way too much fat in your diet, right? Anybody know this guy, Dr. Colwell Esselstyn? He says he's a cardiologist with the Cleveland Clinic, or he was, and he says to not have one single drop of oil. He says it damages the endothelial linings of your cells. In other words, it causes circulatory system issues. And the reason why, in my non-scientific terms, is because it's a food-like product, as we described. It's a processed food. It's completely out of balance, and it's 100% calories from fat and fiberless.
You wouldn't find oil in nature. If you walk out into a field, it's not readily available. It's highly processed.
Let me give you some good news from Dr. Esselstyn. If you haven't heard this before, look down here at the bottom. That number 150, that's your total cholesterol level. The reason why I went to the doctor at 30, and that was almost 25 years ago now for me, my cholesterol level was 201, okay? And I didn't know much about diet at the time, but my last number was 116, okay, for reference. This guy says, if you're below 150, you're heart attack and stroke proof. Apparently it's scientifically, or what, I don't know what, impossible for you statistically impossible to have a stroke or a heart attack, as long as your number without pharmaceuticals is 150. And I'm 116, so it is possible. And do I ever complain of chest pain or shortness of breath? Okay, no, so it works as far as we know, you know.
Yeah.
All right, more about fat. This is important. I wish we didn't have to talk about this, but we do.
Yeah, the Alzheimer's Association said that tiny blood passages in your brain are suspected to be clogged up by eating a diet with a high percentage of calories from fat, especially saturated fat. That's the kind you get from animal products.
Yeah, it could be like type 3 diabetes is kind of the way they're looking at it. Now, I know we're running a little bit short on time. We have a few examples here about how to calculate this percentage of calories from fat. I highly recommend you learn how to do this. It will be so eye-opening to what you're eating, you'll have no idea. Because like I said, I look like the thinnest person alive, but I'm right in the middle of the BMI. Don't think that because everyone looks like everyone else, that it's okay, right? Because everyone's sick.
Yeah.
You need to know this.
My parents brought me up on 2% milk, and I thought that 2% meant low fat. And it's not because they water it down, it's because the calories are based on a 2,000 calorie diet, and I don't need that many calories. So to calculate percentage of calories from fat, you take, for each gram of fat, multiplied by 9, because fat has 9 calories per gram.
So it shows up there, total fat is 5 grams on the nutritional label. 5 times 9 is 45.
And so you take 45 divided by 120, that's the total calories, and you'll come up with 38% fat. That is not a low fat food.
That's more than double the maximum you should be having, which is like 15%, right?
Right.
More than twice. So if you think, oh, it's so innocent, it says 2%, hey, I'm doing the right thing. No, you're actually causing harm by consuming this product as far as we understand right now these days.
Yeah.
Same thing goes for lean beef, right?
Yeah.
Similar example here. I don't know if we have time to go through all these, but you can run the numbers. Just multiply the grams of fat by 9 and divide by the calories per serving. So you can do it off the label. They don't show it. I wish they would, because, like I said, it would be eye-opening. What is that? That's 20% calories from fat for lean beef.
No, it's 27% fat
27.
for lean.
That's the lean beef.
So not
You know it's
only
going to get
is
worse
it,
from there. Yeah, we don't even want to bother with the rest of stuff.
you don't want the animal protein to begin with, let alone the fat.
And there's a fish,
Yeah, some
30,
people
almost almost 38% calories from fat.
Yeah, they think white meat is better for you, right? Well, no. This bumblebee wild-caught pink salmon is 38% fat.
Remember, these fatty foods will raise your blood cholesterol level so that you will probably be susceptible to a stroke or heart attack rather than being heart attack and stroke proof. And also potentially Alzheimer's dementia, right, which is type 3 diabetes and insulin resistance. That's why we're talking about this. Now, wait a minute, what about nuts and seeds? Nuts and seeds are plants. Avocados, high in fat, right? That's the thing. Okay, yes, you gotta watch those. But we just discovered this year. I didn't even know. We've been serving this chestnut stew at one of our events that we do up north at the end of the growing season. And it turns out that chestnuts are like the holy grail of nuts. Did you know this? I didn't even know this. Because look at the number of grams of fat per serving of all these nuts. Top one, 51 grams, 69, 49, and then you come down to chestnuts, they're 0.2. That's a nut. So if you want nuts, this is my recommendation. If you can't get off the nuts or your mixed sauces with nuts and whatnot, try to find some chestnuts. I mean, I am just amazed. I'm blown away. But you have to be selective. Again, we know that we're asking a lot. You have to be selective, but at least you have that. Okay, added sodium. We said you can't have any added salt. Now, why? The reason why is because all plants already have salt. Like they have protein, they already have sodium in them. What is salt? It's an isolate, like oil. Oil's an isolate. All the water's removed. All the fiber's removed. Most of the nutrition's removed. And most salt is mined. Do you think you're supposed to eat something that's mined? Does that sound appetizing? It doesn't to me. It sounds like a lot of work, too. What else do you have to say about sodium? Okay. All right, so what does it do to the body? Okay, this is something else I learned this year. I gotta get to this. Apparently, back in the day when we were on the survival diet, you weren't sure if you were gonna get enough sodium. You weren't even sure what you're eating, if anything, right? So the body's been designed to hold on to excess sodium whenever it gets it. That's the way the body works. Everybody's the same. So it'll store it in the skin, the muscles, eyes, and the spine. Yeah, the spine, actually, the reason why we know about this, we're going to get to in a minute, is because there's a spine surgeon that went viral on YouTube this year that quit spine surgery, one of the most lucrative medical professions. It averages $800,000 a year. He said he couldn't do it anymore. And he realized that he couldn't, in most cases, 80%, remember the 80-20 rule, 80% of the people have these non-communicable diseases. It includes this, it includes back pain, apparently. So what happens is, if you take in too much salt, this spine surgeon found that it would manifest in the spine as one of the areas. And it would create back pain and interfere with the healing process. The reason why is because the human body, the way he discovered and as analyzed, he said this has only been done since 2010, I think. This is new information, okay, very new. He said that it would store in the spine, and because it's spending so much time trying to gather and hold the sodium, it has to push aside the healing process while it's doing that. And most people eat added sodium in everything. So how often do you think you're healing? You're not. Your body is constantly gathering the sodium. And so people with back pain, I didn't think back pain was related to this. I was like, what's this guy talking about? But I understand it now. I mean, the body can only do so much. So it's your choice what you want. You want it to be thriving or surviving. Eating added salt is a survival diet. So, okay, scares me. Okay, but this guy name's Dr. Gooby. I'll send you out some videos to him. I'm going to show you in a minute. But he observed, he wants a number. You may have heard 1,500 milligrams a day is the maximum sodium you should have. They go 1-for-1 calorie ratio. He says it's like half that, 750, if you want to heal. Okay? Anything above that, he says you're going to start interfering with the healing process. So how do you get 750? Well, it turns out it's already naturally in the plants. If you're eating 1,500 calories of mostly whole plants or minimally processed, cut or blended, you're going to get 750 milligrams a day. You won't have any more than you need, and you won't have too little. So it's amazing. Okay, his videos. This is what I saw. The first one up top, 48 minutes long. He rambles on about the top 10 reasons why he quit as a spine surgeon. I actually have an analysis to that that I will send out to you as well, so you don't have to watch a 48-minute video. It's much shorter. And then this one, 1 hour and 19 minutes. This is the one where he explained added salt. Now, there is a caveat to this, that it is a balance, like most things in life, where if you're sweating out enough, you're also sweating out that excess sodium. But most people barely move. That's why I got these running shoes on now, because I want to sweat, right? because that actually helps rebalance the body, but most people don't get enough exercise, so that's why you gotta watch that salt. It's the difference between surviving and thriving, according to Dr. Kubi. There it is, sodium and perspiration, right?
Yeah, so if you're sweating, sure, you can take in a little extra salt, but if not, don't worry about it.
Or you can just stay outside all day here in Naples, and you'll sweat. But never go into the air conditioning. That's part of your therapy. Or just don't eat any added salt, you can stay in the air conditioning all day long. That's what I prefer.
Yeah. But salt has minerals, right?
Yeah, some people say that, that's right. There's a guy named Dr. Furman, I asked him that question in a meeting I was in. He says, cocaine has minerals. And apparently that is true. But are you going to take cocaine to get those minerals? Well, that's one way to do it. But is it going to cause more harm than good is the question. Added salt is an isolate, as we described. No fiber, no water, and it's mined. I don't think it's something you want to eat. Alcohol, oh my gosh. Yeah, alcohol is everywhere, okay? But the reality is if you search online, you'll find it's a group 1 carcinogen. It is a known cancer causer in humans. Yeah, breast cancer is a huge thing. I think that even 1 drink a day has shown statistically to be very detrimental to folks who either get or recur with that type of cancer. It's not good. So we can't recommend it. We can't call it a health food. I know some people try to say, hey, it's all right, don't worry about it. But anytime you're eating carcinogens, life's a balance. You're throwing that balance out of whack. I don't know where the line is where when you throw that balance out of whack that you're suddenly going to develop this disease that you can't recover from. So I would rather just keep you in balance. That's what we recommend.
We do take B12, but that's the only supplement.
That's right. Supplements. If you're deficient in something, like I said, I went to see my doctor, Dr. Harrington. I was telling some people today, he's an awesome doctor. He's board certified in lifestyle medicine. And you can get a blood test through your doctor. If you're deficient in something, by all means, do something about it. But we recommend, instead of supplements, if you feel like, or your doctor tells you you need to have more of something, look up online which whole foods are high in whatever you're low in, and eat more of those, because you're getting the balanced product. Supplement, is that balanced, a supplement?
No. And my most recent blood test said that I was low in D3 too, but not in protein or any of those other things that you think a vegan might be low in. So we do supplement with D3 if we're not outside.
Yeah, you gotta be outside enough. And even when we're outside, we cover up a lot. We're outside every day pretty much, but we do cover because I don't want, like, your skin does age, and the whole skin cancer thing is controversial, but it's still better to be in the shade outdoors than in full sun the whole time you're out there. But you do lack in vitamin D, so that's the thing. So just be careful about that. All right, supplements. Yeah, your lifestyle medicine doctor should determine if you have any nutritional deficiencies. All right. And
pineapples have more vitamin C than oranges.
they do. And we eat those pineapples. We eat like 3 pineapples a day for breakfast. And I'm not kidding. And we find ripe pineapples like that. You see that? You've probably never seen a pineapple like that in the grocery store. I can tell you where to find them around here. Ask me afterwards. We have some good sources around here. And lifestyle medicine, we're going to get into that. You may not have heard about that before, but we have to find, you have to do the sugar. Still, we haven't done it. Why are you not doing added sugar? What's the deal with added sugar or refined sugar? That's what we say, refined, right?
It causes inflammation. When your body is fighting off inflammation, it can't fight off other things like cancer. So that's why the T. Colin Campbell Institute recommends not adding refined sugar.
Right, so we follow the T. Colin Campbell Nutrition Organization. We follow their definition of what refined sugar is. So they say that we can use dates, agave, or maple syrup to sweeten something, but basically nothing else. If there's anything else besides there as an added sweetener, don't eat it, because it's going to harm you in some way. Now, what about fruit? We just showed pineapples.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
That's also not added, okay? It's naturally in the plant. It's part of the balance of water and fiber and nutrition, and we eat a ton of it. I mean, that is, yes, if you have insulin resistance, you have to be careful, but we're talking about the underlying root cause issues, and does fruit ever cause insulin? I never heard of this. No. This is what I was talking about earlier. Glycemic index, you guys heard of that? High glycemic index is bad, right? Low glycemic index is good, especially if you have insulin resistance. Now, the great thing about water and fiber that are naturally in plants is that even if there is something like sugar in fruit, in the pineapples that we showed earlier, let me go back to show you those. it's balanced out by the water and the fiber, so the glycemic index is still way lower than you would ever think. So nature's already figured it out. We don't need to try to reinvent this stuff on our own. It usually causes problems. Okay, cooking, that's what we're talking about. These are the specifics on cooking. Just cooking's fine. Okay, I think that it shouldn't cause any problems unless, what? You cook it too long and too much water is removed, right? It could damage the nutrients, but only if you cook it too high. And the biggest thing I would say, because we cook food generally for dinner, don't go above 350. Why? Because acrylamide is a substance that forms above 350 degrees. It's actually another known carcinogen. And I don't mean to scare anybody, but we know all this stuff now. Like I said, the folks who raised you didn't know this. My parents didn't know it, but we know it now. Why would we want to purposely harm ourselves?
We just have 5 minutes left.
Okay, we're gonna hurry. Okay. Recommendations. Lifestyle medicine. See a board-certified lifestyle medicine doctor. That's who you want to see. What are the 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine? We have 6 pillars in our food. Denise, you want to run through them?
I think we can see
Okay.
nutrition, exercise, stress management, avoid risky substances like alcohol, get restorative sleep, and have social connections.
Okay. Now, intervention stuff we don't get into. What we told you about is what you can do ongoing, indefinitely into the future, and hopefully never develop non-communicable disease, or maybe even reverse it. Intervention is like a total fast, a water fast, or a juice feast. Okay, those are things that do have value. We don't get into them, but they're interventional, and I would absolutely not do that unless you're under supervision of a medical doctor. And it's not for long-term ongoing. It's just to help you in that healing process. All right, now something else that we do have is we have an event that has all of this food. We just talked about it for a whole week. It's called this Health Optimization Cruise. It happens in January. I don't even know if there's any seats left. But you can find it on our website. There may not be, but we do it every year, every January. And we wanted to show you some things here. This is at the 5th through 12th. Go to healthoptimizationcruise.org if you want more details. It's in the Caribbean, in the coldest time of year, because there is winter here in Florida, as we know. And then here's some of the stops, the boat. Oh yeah, we even have alcohol. We did have some alcohol alternatives. We still want to have fun, right?
Kava and freedom.
Yeah, and then we have the doc and chef here. That's Dr. Jim Lewis. Dr. Jim Lewis from the Game Changers. Him and Chef Karen are some of the stars of that event. That was us. Dr. Strickland. Here's some of the food. Yeah, we have our own, actually, we have our own private dining area on this ship. It's a brand new ship that's like 3,000 people that'll hold that much, but we have our own private dining area where they make all the food to our specifications. We do this event because we want to show you that it is possible, because you may have heard some of this information before, or maybe all of it, but you're still like, oh, that's great, but that means I can never leave my house. Okay, and that's the reality. That is true. Unless you go to events that we have curated. And we curated this event because we want you to have the experience. And it's not just the same thing over and over again, although breakfast is the same 10 items. Lunch and dinner are 3 to 4 course meals, and every single item never repeats. So you get a giant variety of stuff. We also have a project in Ecuador. You can check out our website, or lacostamassalta.org, where you can, that's a whole other level besides this talk. We're almost out of time. Yeah, this is our Instagram, our calendar. Follow us on Eventbrite. You probably found us on Eventbrite, and you can follow us there. If you ever, just go to plantbasedevents.info, our YouTube channel, plantbasedvideos.info, and I have a book, okay? I think 100 is pretty good, but 150 is better. Okay, I think that hopefully we've described to you how no one was taught this information growing up, okay? And we could get even more complex than we did, but even the basics is so much different than anyone ever taught you growing up, including me. So it's all about habits. It's all about having the right habits, having an open mind, and learning. And if you're willing to do everything that we know today, I think the true expectation is that you will double your lifespan, and most of that will be health span. Health span and longevity is what we focus on. Health span is you're actually having fun, right? Doing what you want, enjoying your life, because we're grandparents. You feel like you're ready to just open up the casket and crawl in at this point in time? I mean, these should be the best years of your life, okay, as far as I'm concerned. Right? I mean, as long as I can comply. And key to that is having a resource like this, which is, by the way, free. Just go to liveto150.org, go to some of our events, because you meet like-minded people like you have here. You guys are open-minded. You wouldn't be here if you weren't open-minded. That's all it takes. And you can get our email list if you want. Join us That's our email address. That's my phone number. We just want to bring more people together because we know it's only a matter of time. This is a grassroots effort. You just have to realize, yes, it is possible. And like I said, you can leave your house, right? That's the thing. Because before we had these events, you really couldn't leave your house. Oh, and by the way, all the food that Paul and Stephanie have made, it meets our healthy vegan food standard, too. So if you haven't got your samples, please, it's here for you. And I'm excited about this, by the way, because obviously I'm an optimist, okay? I know we have a long way to go, but I thank you all for being here. Is there anything else we need to add? Or, that's fine. Yeah.
I can
Questions?
take questions if you have any for Mike, and we can use the microphone so people online can hear you.
Yes, please, give us your questions.
I would love to know where you get all your fresh
Pineapples?
pineapples, fruit, and vegetables.
Okay, well, pineapples are a staple. I say that we are the world's #1 consumers of pineapple. We're eating 3 pineapples a day. Some days we eat 7 or 8, depends on what I can get. Some days I get none because we can't find any. But around here, seed to table on a makgeolli, they have usually about 200 pineapples set up there, but you gotta pick through them. You gotta pick through them and get, I was over there today. I got 7 pineapples, but they had probably 200 there, and only 7 were truly ripe, in my opinion.
Yellow.
Yeah, yellow is possible because pineapples don't ripen. Many fruits will ripen after you pick them. Pineapples will only rot. Yes, they will change, but they will not change in a good way. And yes, it'll hurt your mouth if it's not ripe. That's why people say, I can't eat pineapple, because it's not ripe. The other location is Farmer Joe's in Cape Coral. I was also over there this morning, also got 7 pineapples there. I had to ask the guy who was out, and he had the crates of pineapples, and I said, can I pick through all these? And he actually moved them all forward, he spread them all out, and, you know, but we have videos too on our YouTube channel about how to pick out ripe pineapples. Because, yeah, here's another key. We didn't mention this in the talk because I said we didn't mention everything, just the basics. But our reality is about life is that unripe fruit is not meant for human consumption. It is not meant for human consumption. There's a reason why you have colored vision. It's to pick out the ripe fruits, and that is there's like nothing better for you than truly, really ripe fruit. I mean ripened on the plant. I don't mean artificially ripened some other way, which is what happens to most tomatoes. That's a whole other story. But yeah, question. Denise, right here. The middle, we don't. I cut it. We compost everything. We compost the outsides and the middle and the stem. I cut it all up. We compost it. Yes, that creates a lot of compost actually. Eating a lot of pineapples. Yeah, Paul.
Just want to add about the pineapples. You can usually find them at the Vanderbilt Farmers Market on Saturdays.
Vanderbilt. Okay, yeah.
The one behind CBS.
We need to go there now. Yeah.
And also, I haven't been there yet, but the produce exchange market in Rockaway, that's where a lot of the vendors buy their produce. So I believe that might be a good source for them. It'll probably be cheaper.
Yeah, and actually I encourage everyone to buy as many ripe fruits and pineapples as possible because what that does is it creates more demand. And when the farmers see more demand, they bring more into the stores and make it easier for everyone to find. Another reason why we think it's important to spread the message like this, because I don't want to have to spend so much work finding ripe pineapples. I just want to eat them. Yes, well, that's, again, we rely on the Dr. T. Colin Campbell Center for Nutrition Studies definition. We always like to have a definition. So I have to ask him, although from what I understand, a lot of these sweeteners, in a certain way like that, they trick the body into thinking it's getting something that it never gets, and then it causes other unintended consequences, I think, you know, because of that.
Like insulin spikes and drops. I'll have to research that one a little further.
Yeah, I don't know, and maybe Dr. Campbell will change his definition over time on that one. I just don't know.
Questions?
Yeah, more questions. I see more hands, yeah. And here too.
I'm on a modified plant diet, and I have a problem with breakfast. I don't really know what
Okay, well, okay, here's another thing. This is like another level of what we can get into here. Sleep is important, as we learned, right? One of the lifestyle medicine principles. Although food is the most important in my mind, but sleep, okay? We like to dehydrate before we go to bed. We have like a high water foods in the early morning, and we kind of have lower water foods during the day, so that when we go to sleep at night, we don't have to get up. So when we get up, we want to eat high water content foods. This is our way of doing it, okay? Because I want to maximize sleep quality. So that's why we have pineapples. So I would recommend any kind of watery fruit in the morning for breakfast, because you're going to hydrate your body with the living water. Some people call it H3O, because you know, if you drink the water out of your tap, it's full of chemicals. There's so many things that could be wrong in your water. The best kind of water is not to drink water at all necessarily, but to have heavy water fruits for breakfast. That's what we recommend. High water fruits for breakfast.
Since you're not eating bacon and eggs.
Yeah.
That's fair. But you don't want to pick cereal, because most cereals are not organic, and there are some like Cheerios that were tested for glyphosate and they were like off the charts. And that would never happen in Europe because glyphosate is banned, but it sure happens here.
And actually, you mentioned Cheerios. Denise mentioned Cheerios. That's something else we've learned, is that the Cheerios of today are not the same as the Cheerios in 1981 when we were eating them. They've been engineered more and more as time has gone on. They are more of a food-like product than ever in ways that I can't even begin to understand, but I know it's not a whole plant, not even close, and it's further away than that than it ever has been.
So if you have to have cereal, try organic oatmeal or switch it for
Yes,
Mike said.
less ingredients, that's what you want. Because, yeah, so in order to get the Cheerios quality of 1981, you have to go to like a very low amount of ingredients organic cereal today, right? That would kind of be the equivalent.
Yeah. Any more questions? Maybe one more.
You eat all these pineapples.
Yeah, I'm not yellow either, I don't think.
You just plain, you just cut it into, how much do you eat of that?
Well, this morning, which was a normal day for us, and yesterday was the same, we had ripe pineapples, and I cut up 3 of them. And Denise and I split that. And we were completely full, right? I mean, like we always are. I eat, like, yeah, I just want to mention that what we advocate when we show this healthy vegan food, notice I didn't mention portion control, did I? Because that always fails over time. It's only a matter of time with that portion, because you don't want to push it all away. You want to keep eating. Like, I'm always eating until I can't eat anymore. But you have to eat what your body recognizes as food. The minute you stray from that, yes, you have to do portion control, because you're causing all sorts of problems due to the imbalances.
You haven't mentioned that, I'm assuming all the pineapples are not organic.
Well, most of the non-communicable diseases you saw, as far as we've been told, they don't have any bearing on organic or not. However, that's another facet, yes. We would advocate, if we could, in a perfect world, that everything be organic, and actually, we would want to see everything better than organic. And when I say that, I mean totally chemical-free. No chemicals at all used in the growing process. That is better than organic. And actually, the house we showed you back here, where is it? There it is. La Casa Mas Alta. That's in a community of a permaculture community. You can rent this house online. It's in Ecuador. It's our house. We built it. And we're members of the community. In this community, they grow most of their own food, and they do it better than organic. They do not use any chemicals. It's not even allowed in the community. The community is over 300 acres in size, and it's in the Amazon rainforest. So it's a world like you've never seen before, but it is possible. And yes, we believe that's important. That's why we're involved in projects like this. The average person isn't ready for that, though. Lemons. What we found on the cruise, okay? Like when we do all this different food on the cruise and everything's different and unique, the thing is, most people who are coming right off the standard American diet, they're expecting this explosion of salt, basically, okay? And what we found is that is highly beneficial. We ask them to when they bring out the food, is well seasoned, not spicy or anything, unless it was a spicy dish and someone wanted that. We'll also ask them to have a plate of cut up fresh lemons, right? And if you could squeeze it on the food, and that made a huge difference in the taste experience. Yeah, go ahead.
I had formed stones in my salad.
You want to take the microphone? I can hear you.
I had formed some stones in my salivary gland, and I found out that the remedy for dissolving them is something.
Oh my gosh, there you go. So you take a whole plant. That's what it is. A lemon, that's a whole lemon, right? You didn't get like juice or anything. That's what we have at our event. You get a whole lemon just cut up, and when you squeeze it, get the pulp on there, whatever. Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. I don't know. I mean, I don't.
It's not in our recipe, but
You
it is
probably
in our.
could.
Yeah, there's lemon juice in our mac and cheese recipe that's on our website.
That's true. That's true. And by the way, we don't ever recommend eating any plants that anyone's allergic to, okay? Because not everyone's the same. And if you have an allergy, then don't. There's a gazillion other things you can eat. It's okay, you know?
I guess we can take some more questions if y'all don't mind sticking around.
I have a little story that you'd like to relate and see
Yes.
what your responses in regard to it. I knew this man was a physician over the years, and his diet always amazed me, but he was very, very fit. And what his diet consisted of is whole food, however, one food at a time. So if we'd have him over for dinner, my wife would serve him potatoes, and that was the meal for him. If he wanted some fruit,
Yeah.
he would eat a dozen apples until he was full.
Yes.
So that one food item is what constituted the meal
Yes.
for that particular time of day. What do
Yes.
you think about something like
Yeah, well, that's actually called a mono meal.
That's correct.
And that's what we eat for breakfast almost every morning. And as long as you're eating, as long as that mono meal is something that your body recognizes as food, meaning it won't express non-communicable disease over time, like whole potatoes, right? Like you said, we do that. We did that the other night. We cut up and air fried some potatoes, and we had this barbecue sauce that had no added oil or salt or sugar, right?
Yeah.
And so it was not quite a mono meal because we put barbecue sauce on, but it was one that was not harmful to you. It's hard to find. So yeah, I think that's you don't want to be deficient in something. You got to have some variety, right, over time. And that's what, if you see your lifestyle medicine physician, you do blood tests, if there's any concerns. But for instance, we know people here in this community, which is called Terra Fruitis, we know people, just to kind of give you, plant some ideas in your head, that are fruitarian, meaning they only eat fruit. They don't eat anything else. And that's two of our neighbors are like that, right? So, and they eat like that too. And you just need to eat, again, like what your body recognizes as food. And it has to be full of that water and fiber and nutrition in balance. And then when you continually do that, your body and your health will remain in balance, and your body will thank you for that. That's what I'd say. You can do anything to an extreme and to a certain degree where you're off balance. Like if you only eat potatoes and nothing else for the rest of your life, there may be a problem. Although you may still be okay, I don't know. You could. People have done that.
Yeah, in the blue zones in Okinawa, people ate mostly sweet potatoes.
But they didn't eat exclusively 100% sweet potatoes, is what I'm saying.
No, but it was like 90% sweet potatoes. Well, the other thing is with a mono meal, if you're eating a vegan mono meal, you're probably not getting all 9 essential amino acids. That's why some people think that if you're eating meat or dairy, it feels fulfilling, and that's because animal products have all 9 amino acids. But you don't want all the side effects from eating that. You want to eat what we're designed to eat, which is plants. So if you eat combined foods like beans and rice, that will have all 9 amino acids.
Yeah, and if people are concerned about the cost, I don't know of anything less expensive than beans and rice. Okay, it's like the least expensive and most positive results way you can go.
Any more questions?
What about hemp seed?
Hemp seed. Okay, well, it has benefits because it's a whole plant, but it's a seed. So it's going to have a very high percentage of calories and fat. So if you have some, don't have too much. That's what I would say. Is it required? I don't know. We just described people that eat nothing but potatoes, nothing but fruit. They're not eating hemp seeds, right? But it depends. That's why if you're interested in this, which is more of it's a newer method of thinking in 2024 and 25, but it's old. It's as old as time. And lifestyle medicine physicians, they'll understand this. If you have specific questions about your health, that's what we can connect you with lifestyle medicine physicians. Like I said, I just saw my doctor on my phone here in Florida, board certified in lifestyle medicine. You get great advice, but this is all new. But that's where that question would go, I'd say, because I've had hemp seeds over the years, but as I learn more about the percentage of calories and fat, I just try to avoid it. That's what I would say. More questions?
Well, thanks everyone for coming out.
Yeah.
And thanks again, Paul and Stephanie.
Hopefully we've inspired you, okay, with information, and go forth and tell everyone else, please. Because we want to get more ripe pineapples in the grocery store. Yes, Paul.
Thank you, everyone coming. If you still have your food,
Trying to regroup.
still have a lot.
So good that
And if you haven't signed in, please sign in.
have not been able to help you.
Thank you.
So I'm getting back in it. Thank you.
Oh, Donna's not here. She's the vice chair, and I need to correct
That's why we never say, you're not sure, we would never say that, because it's, that's right. That's we see, it's got to happen. Yeah. It's not sustainable. It's going to cause more financial issues. Most autoimmunes are not human. So they're almost all benefits to someone like that. I can't just tell you exactly what, because I guess, but everything you see indicates that. try to be examples too, because I got, I'm a little happy, so I don't expect to get next anybody until like 100. But that would kind of might start getting so I'm in for the long haul. This is not a quick fix. See, even with Theo, we got to see how Theo's like, how many videos going on. You guys are here. And you're in the
Yeah, but if you're making this one, you went there first.
Yes. Yes. Okay. She's on the road. Yeah, of course. Don't fall asleep on the way home, yeah. Don't fall asleep on the way home. Yes, I know. I expect you to be running the next time I see you, like next week. We all try. I'm not 100%. Nobody is. Nobody. Yeah. Yes. This coming year is January 5 to January 12. Next year we're going to work with 26 is going to be but it's another year or so. We've already got the dates set. I'll put a link to that because it goes straight to the website. Let us know. It'll work. You'll be on our email list anyway. Sign up and you'll hear about when we start selling the other 26 won't be till. Yeah, we'll have another brand new show. Celebrity Sex is only a year old right now. Okay, but it's going to get too old for us. So we're going to get another brand new show. The machines that have all the most environmentally friendly, they have all the latest requirements that they have to comply with. So that's what Yes, yes. We have people like, yes, if you see our website, you'll see testimonies of people that said, it will go down the day. They eat as much as they could, they're not fast. No, not unless you're calling in your own. It's okay. Well, actually, one thing I mentioned earlier was but I can say the human body is such a disease that we talk about. It's like the check engine light car. Thing is, the check engine light car, you can replace part of the human body is regenerative. Okay? You can't live forever. Like I said, it depends on how you put that out. Right. Well, then you have a goal. That's it. Having a goal is so important. A life purpose, right? Yeah. Well, not the other people that are doing this, that are starting now. That you saw what was last year. Their baby is very small as fast. Yes, I didn't even understand we know that, but that's what we're seeing. This is the next generation. You're going to have so many people that make knowledge. It's not like in the past. It's not like in the past. Yeah. It's a food-like product. It's not food. It's not food. It's vegan though. It is. Yes. That's right. That's right. Well, mean, you can see straight dates, dates. They're so oh yeah, but that's, you gotta be careful with that. Yeah, you gotta be careful. I mean, walnut is okay, but a walnut's okay, but a whole bunch of walnuts is a problem. Yeah, they're all so high. They're so high. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, they're not. It's not in the same stage, right? If you're looking at something that the plant is kind of giving to you to eat, it is more the fruit or the vegetable part, because that seed is dropping down to create another. That's why it's doing that.
Like the chocolate?
And the one thing I wrote that.
Okay, yeah. We all have areas where we can improve. We all do. I used to eat that too. I did. I mean, I used to think that was the healthiest thing. Yeah. Well, I went through the 90s, I say, that was the beginning of that. The 90s was like, oh my God. Anything seafood is like a thing. I remember back in the 90s. Well, think about it. Okay, well, Denise will tell us. I have a problem with that. You have a problem with almost all of us have ready-to-eat salt. We do. They make it special for us. They'll have all the salads, but no added salt. They have it specially prepared for us. And I love those olives. It's so hard to find those olives. You can dilute it. Yeah, that helps. I had all this stuff too. I'm gonna say like no. I mean, I've had to relearn everything. I've had to convince myself. Yes, health span. Health span is that's what I'm saying. We use the word health span.
Yeah.
That's the part of your lifespan where you're actually really healthy to enjoy and do what you want. We think that's most all of your lifespan should be. It's not all. Like I don't envision like connected to machines and slowly dying over like 6 years. I was like this is not the kind of, we're not promoting this. We're not expecting. That's not the expectation. We have much higher expectations. Yes, well, I know. We grew up in the 80s. Yes, I know.
I don't know, here's something. Oh, there's your partner. What?
Right. We're advocating quality over quantity. It just so happens that when you do all the things that we've learned that promote life, you get both. You get quantity and quality, and the highest quality. Well, actually, here's the thing we've only told like one or two people. But we're going to Africa. Okay, we're going to have, if all works out, I think it will, next year around late November, early December, basically a safari trip that has all the food and meets the requirements that we said. Yeah, you can do Ecuador too. We've never been there. Yes, that's right. The yellow fever is what it's called. It's called yellow fever.
There are more. Colin and Catherine.
Well, Uganda, we're going to Uganda. It's only yellow fever. That's it. They're right on the equator, and they have so many national parks and the people are willing to work with us. That's the thing that we have a hard time finding. It's just people that are willing to work with us, but the minute we find somebody, we put something together. Because
That house requires a 24-hour food.
well, they're not 24. Four.
But it takes you 24 hours to travel.
Yes, traveling there takes about a whole day. Because yes, it's not because the flight isn't bad, like you said. It's the bus ride. You have to take because you're on the Amazon side of the Andes Mountains, so you have to cross the continent and ride from all the top to the coast. In the jungle.
This is good for people here. I don't know, sick on a bus, you know?
Well, you can go at night too, so you can't see out the windows because you don't really. Well, as you get close to the top of the mountains, the roads get narrower and narrower, and there's no guardrails or anything. And you can see all these really high mountain waterfalls coming down. It looks really beautiful. but. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Right. That's right, that's right. You're right, you're right. We're gonna come up with more events, because what we say is we want vacations that you don't have to recover from. That's what we said. Because right now there's almost nothing out there. You know you have to recover. You're gonna go, oh my God, I gained 10 pounds, I gotta feel right. Yeah. Oh. Oh my God. Well, nobody complained of that to us. Oh, I got you. I see it. Well, I'm the one in charge of the food on the cruise. I'm constantly getting feedback from passengers and talking to the folks in the kitchen, and they are very attentive. I'll tell you, the people in Celebrity. But we have our own private area. That's the thing. It's our own private area. I'm gonna need some more of this food too. Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for being here. Yeah, of course, you're welcome.
Oh, yes, my purse. Good. Peter, could you,
Yes.